last year. And he could do with winning again this year. Petter Solberg badly needs victory to kickstart his World Championship campaign, but he knows it won't be easy.
How difficult is it to win here?
Difficult because you have to go with absolutely maximum attack all the time, and you need the car to work in all type of conditions, snow, ice, gravel, so that's the difficult part.
High speeds through the forests, unusual driving skills, studded tyres. It's a unique combination faced by the crews just once a year. All the Scandinavian drivers learnt their trade on snow and ice, so it's no surprise that Marcus Grönholm has won the Swedish Rally 3 times. And the early championship leader is amongst the favourites again. The only non-Scandinavian to have won here in the entire history of the sport was defending world champion Sébastien Loeb in 2004. Despite the oil leak that meant no points for Solberg in Monte Carlo, it's difficult to see beyond these 3 superstars in Sweden. Third place Tony Gardemeister isn't entered for this event. But another man flying the flag for Finland is Mikko Hirvonen in his Ford Focus. Norway's Henning Solberg, brother of Petter, has a decent record in this rally, and the Peugeot 307s were fast here last year. While Sweden's Mattias Ekström will be making his 6th start in his home event, this time driving for Red Bull Skoda. So Scandinavia well represented in the rally, which is based in Karlstad, 350 kilometres to the west of Sweden's capital, Stockholm. Coming up, the best of the action from 19 stages spread over 3 days. Plus, blowing hot and cold, sun-loving Australian Chris Atkinson reflects on his first 12 months in the WRC since his debut in Sweden last year. We'll show you how the fans just love to party in the Swedish forests despite sub-zero temperatures. And we'll be with the mechanics back at service. Not so much fun for them trying to stop the cold from numbing fingers and thumbs. Now, it's called the Snow Rally and it demands specific skills, but because the winter weather in Sweden isn't always predictable, you need adaptability too. 3 times winner Marcus Grönholm has a wealth of experience in conquering the conditions. As he'll explain, some years you have to cope with deep snow. In others, like last year, you have to drive on slippery ice. And occasionally, if the temperatures rise and it starts to rain, the stages turn into a mud bath. When there is a good snow covering, snowbanks form at the side of the road, and some drivers deliberately clip them to position the car for corners, but it's a risky tactic.
Okay, you can a little bit go into faster to the corners and you smash the snowbank with the rear, but if you hit the snowbanks too much, you are losing time and then into the next corner. So,
what about where the conditions are icy like last year? No snowbanks, but there's ice on the top. What's the technique there?
That was more tricky. I mean, then we went to the gravel, we lost the studs and the grip, then you are arriving to the icy corners. So we have them marked in the notes last year, quite a lot.
Marked in the notes or not, he still rolled on the last day. This rally can catch out even the very best.
When you don't have much snow, there is stones inside the corner when you are cutting and you want to cut because you are quicker when you take straight line there, but there can be always a stone.
And the final type of conditions, 2002, it was muddy, there was very little ice. It must be really, really tough on those sorts of stage conditions.
Yes, that was really hard. The last day I had a comfortable lead, I think, and we have to go through the muddy last stage with big ruts. That was not Sweden at all. It was something completely, it was not nice.
Well, Marcus shouldn't have too many complaints about the conditions this year, and the frozen snow-covered stages give us and him a chance to show you what this unique event is really all about. This is Grönholm's favourite rally. Fast flowing stages, speeds up to 160 kilometres per hour, and thanks to narrow studded tyres, almost as much grip, amazingly, as on tarmac. See the snowbanks lining the stage? Just imagine the confidence required to slide sideways on ice at more than 100 kilometres per hour, trusting those snowbanks to bounce you back on line. In the commentary box, watching this flawless performance is Paul King.
This should give you a real sense of the speed and commitment needed to win this rally.
Yli nypyn 100. Oikein helppo yli nypyn 8.
The pace notes come thick and fast from co-driver Timo Rautiainen.
Pitkä eri miinus kirraa kiviä sisällä.
Grönholm reacts and the car behaves perfectly.
2 nyppyä täys, 8 nyppy oikein.
The Grönholm Ford collaboration is already looking like a marriage made in heaven. A win on the tarmac in Monte Carlo, and he's already clicked into gear on the snow in Sweden.
Kivi sisällä lopussa. Ja vasen täys yli nypyn 8, oikein miinus ahdas.
Just over 18 kilometers in 10 minutes and 27.7 seconds. That's the benchmark, and it's going to be tough to beat.
So what of his two championship rivals, both past winners here? Sébastien Loeb trailed Grönholm by less than 3 seconds after stage 1, but then a moment of forgetfulness from the French crew. They changed a spotlight on the road section, but failed to do up the catches on the bonnet, which flapped up and smashed into the windscreen. He was a minute late to the stage start, earning a 10-second penalty, and with visibility somewhat compromised by the cracked glass, he isn't looking or seeing 100%. He dropped 6 seconds to Grönholm on the stage. So what about the challenge of Petter Solberg, who's promised to make early amends for his disappointing start to the season in Monte Carlo?
6 left plus 30. Slow keep left of it, extra long, crashed into 4 right.
Let's join Paul King again.
3, 80.
After a dismal start to his season in Monte Carlo with retirement and no points, Solberg is desperate to get a good finish under his belt, and he's promised to attack from the word go.
Jump 40. Black crest, 150, jump 100.
He's certainly living up to his promise here. Look at this commitment over this series of jumps. Oh, that did not sound good though. There's obviously a problem, Petter. Tweaking the controls there, that this sounds very bad indeed.
What's happened? Keep right of a crest, into 6 left of a crest, half long, 30.
A broken drive shaft, unbelievable on the very first stage of the rally. His challenge for victory looks like it could be over before it's begun. This is going to cost a lot of time.
Titans 4.
I can't believe that this is not right, huh?
Just isn't happening.
This is not fair.
Just isn't happening, is it?
Whatever god he's offended, the punishment seems severe. In Monte, an oil leak ended his rally. In Sweden, a faulty drive shaft.
We have to do something anyway, because after broken the drive shaft now, it's just... I can't... how is it possible? You know? All the time?
He's clearly disappointed. The Norwegian flag's already drooping. While Petter prays for a change of fortune, his mechanics try to make their own luck, replacing that drive shaft in a busy first service. And at Cronos Citroën, it'll be a new windscreen and bonnet for Seb. Even Loeb needs to see if he's to challenge early rally leader Grönholm. And Grönholm's lead is now up to 19 seconds. Teammate and fellow Finn Mikko Hirvonen is third, and just behind him is local man Mattias Ekström. In fifth is the highest placed Subaru of Australia's Chris Atkinson. 1 year ago, when just 25, Atkinson came out of nowhere to make his WRC debut in this event, unveiled by Subaru as a talented and exciting new prospect. For most Australians, sport is a way of life, but more used to sun, sea and sand than snow, ice and sub-zero temperatures, his first WRC outing didn't last long. Chris crashed out on stage 2. Since then, it's been a rollercoaster year for the man from the Gold Coast of Australia. There's been some very fast driving, including occasional stage wins when no one in the WRC could match him. But there have also been a number of driver errors. It's a steep learning curve. He couldn't become a world beater overnight. So what's the verdict on the past 12 months?
We took an approach where we were going to take some risks and make some mistakes, but that was a good way to learn for us. And you saw last year in Sweden we did make a few mistakes, damaged the car a bit, but I think we learned a lot from that as well.
David, how do you feel that Chris has fared over the last year?
Absolutely spot on. It's a difficult thing to start with so little experience, and in the course of the year, he showed speed, control, and in the end, some great results. Japan and Australia were both great drivers.
David, what's your target from the team perspective for Chris this year?
Well, we're expecting to see some podiums, definitely.
The next challenge for the Australian and his rivals, a rerun through Stage 1, Frederiksberg, where the tracks of 63 rally cars have made the surface less predictable. The drivers will have to take into account the changed conditions. The action is already underway with rally leader Marcus Grönholm well into the stage.
And word is already coming through that the rally leader has slipped up, and this could be very costly, with Sébastien Loeb bearing down on his first place. We're hearing that he's gone wide at a junction, and we can see what happened using our virtual spectator technology. Yes, he took too much speed into that corner. He did manage to keep going when he could so easily have got caught in one of the many snowbanks. Plenty of kilometres left, so Grönholm is going to have to push to make up that time. Here's Loeb now. 164 kilometres an hour. He's certainly not holding back, and he will be the main beneficiary of that mistake from the rally leader. Now, let's compare the Frenchman with Grönholm round that earlier junction. Yes, well, it only looked like the briefest of delays for Grönholm. You can see it'll cost him several seconds. And Loeb knows this could be his chance to take the rally lead. A small mistake from Grönholm, but it's already been a morning to forget for Petter Solberg. Oh no, that's a stall. It's not getting any better, and that's another stall. This must be a launch control problem for the Norwegian. He does get going eventually. Yes, he's away, but the day is quite simply turning into a disaster for Solberg. Grönholm's regained his composure though and made it to the stage finish. He'll have to wait and see how much time he's lost when Loeb comes through. But back quickly to the start line, and it's Chris Atkinson next onto stage 3. Remember, Subaru boss David Lapworth predicting some podium finishes for Atkinson this year, and he's handily placed at the moment in 5th place. Oh, whoa, that's a classic mistake to make on the Sweden rally. He's tried to bounce off that snowbank, but instead he's been dragged into it.
Damage the front. Get out. Supervision, we're just stuck on the side of the road on the snowbank at the start of the stage.
Well, there are plenty of spectators, as always, in Sweden to help push the Subaru Impreza out of the snowbank. But you can see the expression on Chris Atkinson's face there. He's not a happy man. Well, they've got him back on the road, so he should get away now. Oh, he's stalled as well. It's not turning into a good day for the whole Subaru team. He does get moving, but he's certainly going to have lost his 5th place. Another error from the Australian. We're hearing that he has got power steering failure after that off, so perhaps understandable, but it's going to cost him a lot of time. Back with Sébastien Loeb now. He's approaching the finish, and he should beat his rival, and we're about to find out by how much.
Sur droite à fond en ciel, et gauche 130 plus, sur attention droite 130 plus, sur frein pour ciel pour droite 110 plus.
A previous winner here, of course, Sébastien Loeb, so his pedigree on snow is well known. There's the finish board, 6.6 seconds, and the leader's advantage is down to 12.4. It's gone from bad to worse, meanwhile, for Atkinson. With that power steering failure, Subaru's number 2 is plummeting down the leaderboard. He's now 23rd. And he's even being caught on the stage itself by Mikko Hirvonen, who started the stage 2 minutes behind Atkinson.
ja lyhyt vasen loiva.
Judging from the early split times, Mikko Hirvonen should beat the time set by Loeb.
Oikea vasen K, jarru 3.
This is a great performance again from the young Finn. He's not going to climb above Loeb, but he's beginning to apply some pressure. Mattias Ekström now, and another Scandinavian perfectly at home in familiar surroundings. The local hero is even quicker and is now within 5 seconds of Hirvonen's third place. Behind the Swede is Gigi Gali, and look at that, he's as flamboyant as ever. The end of the stage is approaching, and this time is going to be very quick from the Italian. There's Hirvonen's time. He's the quickest through so far at 10 minutes and 33 seconds. But Gigi Gali, though, grew up driving on the snow of northern Italy. So it's not only Scandinavians who can be quick on the Swedish rally. There's the finish. That's a terrific time from Gali. 3.9 seconds better than Hirvonen's effort, and that's Gali's first stage win of the season. Much to the delight of the Gigi Gali fan club who've travelled out to Sweden for this weekend.
He is the quickest so far.
An impressive performance then from Gali, but that doesn't change the order of the top 4, though Grönholm's lead is looking a little more vulnerable, just 12.5 seconds ahead of Loeb. Gali's stage win does, however, mean he's less than a second off Ekström and is now 5th overall. And as the afternoon progresses, so does the Italian. Gigi overhauls Ekström, and the news just gets better as he climbs all the way into 3rd, in part thanks to problems for a rival. Mikko Hirvonen seems to feel at home with BP Ford and clearly has a good feel for the Focus. Just watch him over the Vergassen jumps. Now that is spectacular. But the car can't take the pressure, even if the driver can. His engine is overheating. The team tell him to stop. The disappointment's clear to see. His charge over, thanks, it seems, to a failing alternator drive belt. That also benefits Gali's Mitsubishi teammate Daniel Carlsson, who only confirmed his WRC entry 2 days ago. He's up to 4th, overhauling fellow Swede Mattias Ekström. Ekström is now 5th. The Red Bull Skoda driver's been consistent, and as his day job is circuit racing, this is a remarkable demonstration of multi-skilling. Manfred Stoll started the season on a high, finishing 4th in Monty. And he's performing well here too, moving up to 6th, 12 seconds ahead of teammate Henning Solberg. But some of the Sweden debutants are struggling. Matthew Wilson is still going though, even if he's in a lowly 16th position. The 19-year-old Brit is here for experience, so to finish is the key. Teammate Luis Companc Perez, an Argentinian a long way from home, was running 20th until Sweden bared its teeth. And as if being stuck in a ditch weren't bad enough, his woes are confounded when a junior driver mistakes his Focus for a snowbank. As for the top of the leaderboard, no changes there. Though second-placed Sébastien Loeb is on the attack. 3-stage wins and he's closing in on Marcus Grönholm. But not by too much. The rally leaders minimising the damage, dropping less than 2.5 seconds over 68 kilometres. Maybe not as dramatic as some of his rivals, but it's substance, not style, that matters. Here are the standings at the end of day 1. Grönholm's lead over Loeb now just over 10 seconds. Gali in 3rd. Christian Solberg in the final points position in a privately entered Subaru. But what a dreadful day for the Works team. Neither car feature on the leaderboard. The drivers have finished their day's work, but for the mechanics there are a few freezing tasks ahead. In service, speed and dexterity are vital requirements, and the cold hampers both. These Ford men have fiddly jobs to perform with fingers and thumbs nearly numbed by chilly air and ice-cold metal, and it is bitter. -20 and the mercury's still falling as the night draws in. Their role is a vital one, keeping the rally leader's car in perfect condition, but for them, the conditions are far from perfect.
It's difficult, the feel in your fingers goes, and trying to use gloves, it's not always possible, because you haven't got the feel through the gloves to keep your hands warm, etc. And your fingers go numb.
If Marcus stays out in front, his mechanics deserve a very warm thank you indeed. It's just as cold for the fans out on the stages, but they have their own special ways of keeping warm. Join us and them after the break. Welcome back to the Swedish Rally, where we have real winter weather. Picture postcard pretty, but mind-numbingly, blood-freezingly cold. Even the Finns are feeling the chill. Special heated boots keep Marcus Grönholm's toes toasty warm. Forget the cold though, the fans are here for the fun. But what if you're new to all this, here for your first WRC Sweden event like the Gigigali fan club visiting from Italy? Well, here are 5 top tips to make sure they fit in. Take enough supplies for a long day out in the forests. That's beer for dinner, beer for lunch, and even, yes, beer for breakfast. Make sure you know all the complicated lyrics to the latest rally songs. And don't forget to learn the moves for the latest Swedish dance craze. Give yourself a break from the action by taking every opportunity to top up your suntan. And while you're waiting for the cars, how about a bit of axe throwing to stave off boredom and while away the hours? So the big question is, have the Gigigali fan club come prepared? Well, they have got one advantage over many visitors to Sweden.
It's not very different as at home in Livigno in Italy, north of Italy. It's a ski resort and it's the same condition of weather.
Being Italian, they can't start the day without not a beer, but a cappuccino. Then it's off to the stages, and like most fans, they have their own special anthem. Finding the perfect vantage point is a must, and once the obligatory banner is in place, there's still some time to observe the local wildlife.
It's finished stage for the boys.
Really?
Yes.
They had a bit too much to drink?
I think yes.
No alcohol, so no problem coordinating a fan's display in support of their hero. And the battle that's gripping the Italian fans is the closely fought contest for third between their Mangali and his Mitsubishi teammate Daniel Carlsson. The Swede was brought up rallying on snow and ice, and you're watching a display of real confidence and aggression here on stage 7.
60.
He opts for a little more caution over the second half of the stage, but has set a fantastic time. So Gigi doesn't have any leeway to let up or make a mistake. He can't match the local man though. He drops nearly 7 seconds to Carlsson, and that means he loses third place, even if the margin is a tiny 7/10 of a second. On stage 8, it's his turn to put in a perfect and pacey performance. Maximum attack. Gali retakes third, but by less than half a second. Second place Sébastien Loeb is in a battle too. He's hoping to catch rally leader Marcus Grönholm, who's just 10 seconds ahead overall. Now in these freezing and icy conditions, tyre compound and the length of studs are absolutely critical. Seb, expecting sheet ice, opted for a softer compound and a shorter stud than Marcus. And we're about to find out which of the two made the right decision.
Sebastian's quickest stage time so far, but obviously more important about Marcus who's to come.
Marcus will be faster, I think. It was some snow and I have some ice studs. It was not really a good choice for this stage. I hope the next one will be better for me.
So the massively experienced Grönholm read the situation perfectly. He and Ford predicted that there'd be a covering of snow over the ice and took longer studs to bite through the softer surface. And look at the clock. He's coming towards the end of the stage, and he will be faster, as Seb predicted. He'll extend his lead. 4.9 seconds faster than Loeb. His lead's now 15.1 seconds. And his reaction is more passionate Latin than ice-cold Scandinavian.
Yes! Yes! Happy man. Wow! Wow! Marcus, what a way to start the day. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we did the modifications to the car and now it feels very, very good. Okay, and good tires as well, so yes.
And maybe the driver.
Yeah, I know this stage quite well and fantastic car now to drive.
And he has the beating of Loeb in stage 8 too. 2 consecutive stage wins for the Finn. Still no real breathing space, but he'll feel a little less threatened. With 5 stages to go on day 2, Grönholm's lead over Loeb is now nearly 18 seconds, with Gali more than a minute further back in third, closely pursued by Carlsson. And there's another contest developing for 5th between Stoll, Ekstrom and Henning Solberg. After the break, it's Gali versus Carlsson. And Loeb versus Grönholm, on the stage where Sébastien Loeb made one of his very rare mistakes in 2005. Welcome back to the second day of the Swedish Rally. There's always a great atmosphere at this event. Fans come in force to the service park, where there's plenty to keep everyone entertained. Lots of stuff to buy, a big screen to watch the action. And the drivers, their displays of course dominate proceedings, particularly when in breathtaking battles, as is home favourite Daniel Carlsson.
Hard battle and looking forward to the next stage here now.
You seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying. It's a blast really with the Swedish audience and everything cheering me on out on the stage. It's really nice.
Can the Italian keep the Swede behind now?
Okay, now it's still probably too early, but we learn from that and we will try to fight in the future.
You worried about Sébastien just behind?
Yeah, he's quite close. I mean, one mistake and he is there again, so we have to keep pushing.
Can you fight back? Looking to the next stage, it's Likenäs. Last year you went off there, so you're going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, but it's not a reason to go off every year in the same stage. I will have to push hard and we'll see after this stage how it's going.
So, Seb's still confident he can catch Marcus. With 2 fascinating duels promised, let's get straight to the action on stage 9.
And take a look at Daniel Carlsson behind the wheel of his Mitsubishi, psyching himself up at the start line a short time ago. And with determination like that, the fans who are out in force again should have some fantastic action to warm them up. Here's Sébastien Loeb, ready to tackle the 22 kilometres of snow and ice ahead. This is the Likenäs stage, which caught out the world champion 12 months ago, of course. One of very few errors in a season of near perfection. Well, that's what happened, but as you've heard earlier, he doesn't reckon last year's mistake will come back to haunt him here. Another clean getaway for the world champion. There's plenty of snowbanks lining the road here, and this should make for a spectacular test.
100 mètres, droite 120 moins mi-long-tard, et attention, gauche 80 moins long en ciel.
The rally leader will be off soon, but first, let's get straight back to that intriguing battle for third between Gigi Gali and Carlsson. The Swedes showing good pace in front of the local support, but is it enough to claim third? Remember, Gali had only 0.4 of a second in hand on his teammate before this stage. The Italian nose really attacking these last few corners. And his fan club are still here to support. Now there's his target time, anything better than 12 minutes, 35.6 seconds, and his position is safe.
In destra 3 meno lunga, 20. Destra 2 stretta, in sinistra via.
He's through the yellow boards already. I think he's going to do it. Yes, a good response from Gigi. He not only holds on to third, but he extends the gap between him and the chasing Carlsson. Okay, well, the status quo is maintained in the battle of the Mitsubishis. What about the fight for the lead? Marcus Grönholm begins stage 9 with a fairly comfortable 17.9 second advantage on his rival.
Sisällä 8. Vasen täys 340.
He knows, of course, he can't ease off for 1 second with a hard-charging Loeb close behind. He's closing now on the first split time at 5.5 kilometers in.
8 ja oikeeri ehkä pyöree yli.
Now that's the marker, and with virtual spectator, let's find out who's quickest over the early part of the stage. Well, look at this, it's the Citroën man who's ahead. Could this be the start of the big fight back?
Vasen eri pyöree ja oikeeri -4 vasen hidas risteys.
Well, Grönholm's closing in though. He's visibly gaining as we approach the split. Here comes the corner. It's going to be close, and Loeb stays in front for now. 4 temps up at this point, but he'll need to do more than that if he wants to make significant gains. For once, Loeb is the hunter rather than the hunted as he continues to push to the finish. They're both double world champions and have literally been in a league of their own all weekend.
Sur droite 90 moins long. Sur gauche. Sur droite 120 ouvre.
Back to Grönholm, and he's showing no sign of letting up under the relentless pressure from Loeb.
Vasemmalle 4 vasen, pitkä nopea kirra yli nypyn sumppuun, rauhasta ettei pitää.
Approaching the 15.5 kilometer split now.
Kirraa ja vasen eri pidä sisällä yli nypyn sumppuun. Ja oikea eri -sumppuun. Ja oikealle vasen hidas.
The Monte Carlo winner looking very neat and tidy through this tight sequence of corners.
Ja vasen pitkä hidas pidä sisällä.
And look at that, already the Finn is back in front, and it looks like he'll actually extend his lead. Well, Loeb's just finished the stage, so let's see what he's got to say about his chances now. There is still a long way to go, of course, but at the moment, he just doesn't have an answer to Grönholm's searing pace.
Sébastien, the last split available to me at 15 kilometers. You're 2.3 slower than Marcus. What can you do to beat him?
I think nothing. We tried hard again, and I think he's too fast, and it's very difficult to catch him. So okay, we'll see, but it will be difficult.
It's not like Loeb to give up the chase, though he is now 21 seconds behind Grönholm. Third place Gali has also stretched the margin between himself and Carlsson, and less than 20 seconds separate 5th from 8th, which is now held by Jani Tuohino in a privately entered Xsara. And the duel being fought for third maintains its intensity throughout the afternoon. But it's Daniel Carlsson who ends the day with the bragging rights, just, with a lead of a minuscule 0.3 of a second over his Mitsubishi teammate Gigi Gali. And other battles are raging all over the leaderboard, with some drivers putting a little too much aggression into the mix. Just take a look at Henning Solberg. Here's an example of what not to do in Sweden. It's cold enough as it is without a carload of snow falling through your rear windscreen. Or it could be a severe case of dandruff. With the help of some rally fans, they get the car back on the stage. But visibility a tad impaired by snow and broken glass. One solution, stick your head out the window to get a sight of the stage. Not ideal. Co-driver Kato Menkerud comes up with a better idea. Get rid of the windscreen. One good kick should do it. Okay, so maybe Kato needs a little more leverage. And it's out. Excellent. Now it's only the driving snow and freezing cold they have to worry about. If you can't read your pace notes, you may as well shelter behind them. Kato may not want to look, but that needn't stop us. A grandstand view thanks to one of the fans at the side of the stage. And this is what it felt like from the crew's perspective. Well, here's the new look 307. Now with air conditioning as standard. Eventually, Henning and Kato can see the funny side of it. There's always friendly rivalry, of course, between teammates. But this is taking it to extremes. At the very same corner, Manfred Stoll has a similar misadventure. OMV Peugeot win the award in the action and adventure category. It may not look as spectacular, but this has worse consequences. Manfred's out and doesn't realise Henning was partly to blame for eliminating the snowbank.
We had a good run, everything was okay, but just some cars in front of us hit the snowbank, and when we came there was no snowbank anymore, and we touched with the rear, come to my sideways, nearly spin, it was okay, but then the car started to fall on the roof, so that's it.
All of that means that Mattias Ekström ends the day in 5th for Red Bull Skoda, a tiny 1/10 of a second ahead of Janne Tuihino. More action, but of a less damaging kind. Matthew Wilson's struggling. Though his Stobart VK Ford teammate Kosti Katimäki is hoping to get into the points, the Brit is down in 17th. But he's sticking it out, despite sticking his Focus in a snowbank.
No.
Where he stayed for 3 freezing minutes. But Matt's dad, Ford team boss Malcolm, will have a big smile on his face, not just for his teenage son, but for his 37-year-old #1 driver. Despite a stall at the start of stage 12, Grönholm wins 5 of the day's 7 stages, pulling away from the pack. At the end of day 2, Grönholm's lead is 25 seconds from Loeb. Carlsson sits in 3rd place, just a fraction of a second ahead of Gali, with Ekström and Tuihino 5th and 6th respectively, separated by the narrowest of margins. Still no sign of Petter Solberg on the leaderboard. Aggravation on day 1 and more irritation on day 2. A spin on the final stage after gearbox problems all afternoon. While brother Henning hasn't learnt his lesson not to mess with snowbanks and beaches his 307 not on the stage, but rather embarrassingly back at the service park. It's Marcus Grönholm's birthday tomorrow, and he'll be hoping for a double celebration. A 20th victory for himself and a 50th World Championship win for Ford. Join us for the final day's action after the break. Remember this? Day 3 of Rally Sweden last year? Well, Marcus Grönholm certainly does. In contention for the win, and then this. Rally over. So there'll be no premature celebrations on his 38th birthday until he's certain of the victory. But it's not just the top of the table where there's tension over the day's 6 crucial stages. Fifth place Mattias Ekström is defending the smallest of leads over Janne Turhino. The Swede's best finish here is 10th, but the circuit racers performed strongly this year. Until the final day jinx gets him. Jumping straight into the snowbank. Rally over for Ekström, who can return to his day job, where he's hoping to recapture his DTM title. So Turhino is the winner of that battle, and looks pretty secure now in 5th place overall. But it's a real blow for the Swede. He's gone hard, but he's now going home.
Start off very well on the stage, and then here we were feeling quite alright. The speed was not wrong, but then just before the crash I was bottoming on the front and lost the front grip and went in the snow, and then the whole front end of the car is damaged.
And just as yesterday, when teammate followed teammate into trouble, Ekström's teammate Andreas Agner comes to grief at precisely the same spot. His jumping technique needs a little practice. Both Red Bull Skodas fail to make it to the end of the rally. Now what of that gripping battle for 3rd? Daniel Carlsson, remember, currently in that podium position, but with a margin of just 0.3 of a second over his Mitsubishi teammate Gigi Gali. And he starts the day defiant and determined to strengthen his position. Which he does. He's half a second faster.
Gigi did 6 minutes, 0.3, you did 59.
Perfect. Good start. Perfect. Ah!
How much does this 3rd place mean to you?
Everything today. Everything. I'm empty myself for this position today. I'm going to give it everything.
Wow, well, no doubting Daniel's dedication. But on stage 15, Gali's fighting back. The Italian wants to show reliability this season, but he can never resist the excitement of going flat out to reel in a rival. And he claims back 3rd place with a 1.7 second lead. So now it's Carlsson who has to attack on stage 16.
And the Swede does not want to be beaten on his home turf. There's the target time, 5 minutes, 51.6 to beat. And this is looking good. Yes, they swap places once again. Carlsson now has the edge, just 0.7 of a second ahead.
As if that adrenaline-fueled contest weren't enough, there's still the fight for the lead. Loeb in ski glasses, not risking snow glare in his determination to chase Grönholm to the finish. On the first 2 stages of day 3, he's shaving seconds off the BP Ford driver's lead. By the end of stage 15, he's 23.5 seconds behind. But that lead's still a manageable one for Marcus, assuming nothing goes wrong. But you can assume nothing in rallying. A scary moment early on, just where Ekström and Agner went off. Memories of that roll last year flooding back. On stage 16, more difficulties. Marcus is having to resort to the manual shift. No one sure what the problem is. He's just got to make it back to service. It costs him a hefty 9 seconds to Loeb. The tension's mounting. Here's confirmation with just 3 stages to go. Grönholm's lead over Loeb now just over 14 seconds. Carlsson and Gali still scrapping over 3rd. Veteran Thomas Radström is up to 6th, with Katihamaki for Stobart VK Ford and Kronos Citroën's Pons now in the points. So the pressure falls on the Ford mechanics. 20 minutes to find out what went wrong with Marcus's car and fix it.
We lost the hydraulic oil on the last one and no gear changing anymore hydraulically, and then the diffs were not working. oil on the windscreen. It was terrible.
They replace a broken oil filter and pipes. Everything should be back to full working order now, but it's pressure the rally leader could well have done without. Though he and the team are putting a brave face on it.
Timo with a smile at
Even so, Marcus must be nervous. A rally lead's always a fragile thing, depending as much on luck as on skill and engineering. And you can't question the skill. The tricky section here, and his driving is impeccable. More to the point, the hydraulic shift is still working. He wins stages 17 and 18. So Loeb drops 7 seconds over the 2 stages and is 21 seconds behind again. Says he's happy to settle for second with just 1 stage remaining. But how about that battle for third? Well, Gigi beats Daniel by 1.5 seconds on stage 17, taking third place once again with a lead of 0.7 of a second. So the Swede comes into stage 18 with it all to do yet again.
Well, Carlsson must be getting rather fed up with having to beat his teammate on a regular basis like this, but he's bearing down on the finish line again. Can he reclaim third? 0.7 of a second to make up. And this is going to be incredibly close. Well, for the 4th stage in a row, they've switched places. Carlsson's back in front just.
The bad news filters back to Gigi, who's waiting for his teammate at the end of the stage.
Daniel, you got third back. It's a big battle with Gigi.
Incredible. I don't know what it is, but something is not working now. It feels like it's going on 3 cylinders sometimes on the long straights. I don't know what it is.
Back to those battles shortly, but first let's catch up with some of the other crews. It's been a terrible rally for Petter Solberg, with trouble on every day, never in the points, and even worse, excluded for being too long in a time control. What chance of his challenge for the title? His brothers moved up to the final point scoring position, despite having almost as torrid a time. A broken wheel costing him 3 minutes today. But Xavier Pons has smashed his previous record on this event. His best result was 38th, but more consistency and the retirement of others see him head home 7th. An impressive WRC debut for Kosti Katiamäki, who's set for 6th. He does have the best of teachers, a protege of Marcus Grönholm. From youth to experience, 94 winner Thomas Radstrom back in the WRC for the first time since 2002. The Swede using local knowledge to good effect. He's up to 5th. And that's because Jani Tuahino's engine gave up in dramatic fashion just 700 metres from the finish line. A warning to all those involved in big battles that it's not over till it's over. So let's get back to that one remaining real battle, the teammates duelling over that final podium position.
Gali is first onto the final stage, and he only has 2 attempts to make up to claim his first ever podium finish. Oh, but there's something wrong here. There's a problem with his gears, and in fact he's lost 3rd gear altogether, and this could cost him 3rd place. It's not over yet, of course. Carlsson still has to finish, so can his teammates take advantage? The Swede, of course, was also complaining of a possible engine problem after the last stage, but he seems to be firing on all cylinders here. Okay, anything better than that target time, and he'll hold on to 3rd. The line's coming up, and it's looking good. Yes, 3rd place is Carlsson's for his best ever result, and on his home event too.
Gigi's heard the news and is waiting for his teammate. Daniel delirious. Gigi disappointed, but the first to congratulate him. Generous in defeat, and almost sharing Daniel's delight.
Daniel, home rally, first ever podium.
It's unscribable. It's fantastic. I've never been so nervous from the finish until that point here in my whole life, I think. I'm very, very relieved. I can hardly believe it.
But top of the bill and top of the podium, as in Monte Carlo, it's Marcus Grönholm. This will be his 20th career victory, making him level on wins with Loeb, and it's a 50th win for Ford in the WRC. A special day indeed.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Well done,
That's a real win.
I was a little bit worried when we were first time here in the morning with the oil leak, so but now they fixed it in the service and the car was perfect, so really good day.
So here's confirmation of the winning margin here in Sweden. That battle for third going right to the wire, but fourth is still a career best finish for Gali. 10 more points for Grönholm to add to the 10 he gained in the season's opening event in Monte Carlo. A very happy 38th birthday for Marcus, and one he won't forget. A champagne celebration. Or maybe not.
No champagne, no.
So, after 2 events, this is how the Drivers' Championship is shaping up. 2000 and 2002 champion Marcus Grönholm ahead of defending champion Sébastien Loeb. In the manufacturers' table, Citroën are providing the early challenge to BP Ford. Next up on the WRC calendar, it's the warmer weather of Mexico. Heat and dust replacing snow and ice. Petter Solberg won here last year. Can he repeat the act and stop the dynamic duo of Grönholm and Loeb from building up a massive championship lead? Make sure you keep up to date with all the rally news on WRC.com, and we'll see you again in Mexico next month.